Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of my homebrew journey. Right, so today is episode sort of 43ish, isn't it? Doing quite well now. And what I'm going to do today is a copy of my Twinkles Búzasor, which was my Weissbier. And what the thing I'm looking at today is the water chemistry. I'm starting to get into the water chemistry because different beers have different water profiles, different amounts of this and different amount of that add or take away from the flavour, or do something to the mouthfeel, or all sorts of nonsense. So what I've done is I've been online, I've bought myself some chemicals, I've been online and I've got myself a bit of a water calculator, a basic one, so I'm just having a look at the minute, and we'll see how it goes, see if it makes a difference or not. So for the recipe today then, it's a kilo of Pilsner malt, a kilo and a quarter of wheat malt, and that's it. I'm going to do it all in 9 litres of water, and then I'm going to sparge with 6 litres of water. And then for hop additions, it's just 10 grams of SARS, I think it was. Was it 10 grams of SARS? Don't know. And then it's WBO6 all the way. I'm not going to do an unsealed fermentation this time. I'm going to do 2 demijohns sealed, and we'll see how we go from there. Water temperature not there yet. So anyway, water chemistry. I've been on to the homebrewforum.co.uk, and they've got a very simple water calculator. And first thing I had to do was go to my water company, which is United Utilities, and you can go on their website if you're in the northwest of the UK, of England, and they'll give you a full rundown of all the composition of your water. So I went on there, and it was mind-boggling. So I managed to pick out what I needed to though, and on this Homebrew Forum calculator it asks for amounts of calcium, magnesium, sodium, sulfate, chloride, your alkalinity, your total amount of water, your total amount of mash water, which for me is 9 litres there, just there, and then it's asked for a beer style, so I put in pale ale. It's not a pale ale, it's a wheat beer, but so what, giving it a go. And then you press calculate and it comes up with a bit of a green box with all the different chemicals you need to put in, so you should be able to see that on screen now. So we've got gypsum. To add into the mash I need 3.29 grams. Well, I don't quite have my super fine scales yet, so I'm 3 and a bit grams ish, and that goes in the mash. And then in the boil I need 2.2 grams of gypsum or calcium sulfate dihydrate, and then some Epsom salts, 1.37 grams of Epsom salts or magnesium sulfate heptahydrate, which rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? So they go in at different parts of the process, and hopefully it should make a difference. I'm not sure what they do. I'm not sure what sulfates do, but I'll have a look online during the process of this day, and I'll get back to you. So it's almost the temperature. Let's get going. So we're just about to put mash in, but before I do that, I'm going to have my salts. There's my gypsum. They come in 2 little jars. I like those jars actually. Might use those for hops. So there's the gypsum, and it's basically fine, like a talcum powder kind of consistency to it. And there are Epsom salts, which is a bit more granular, a bit more crystally. And there's 100 grams in each of those, a couple of quid each. So for the mash, I've also got some pH buffer in there. I'm not sure really what that does, but anyway, it's in there. There's just over 3 grams of gypsum, and according to the calculator that just goes in there. Pop that in there, and then you just get mashing in like this. Okay, so we're at 63 there, just coming up to 64, and because there's 2.25 kilos of grain in there, and I've got my screen in the bottom, the grain is in a very small amount of water, so I will get, when I start to recirculate, a bit of a stuck mash. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my bazooka filter down into the middle of the grain, like that, and that'll sit there, and then what will happen is that allows water to get through and should be all okay. So we're going to leave it for 15 minutes just for the grain bed to settle, and then we'll put the pumps on and do all the nonsense, and the brew day's going. Okay, so that's 15 minutes up, so I'm just going to start the recirculation. So, valve open, beer through there, temperature 64, valve partially closed, and let's turn that down a midges. It's nice and pale, I'll give it that. So, there we go, 45 minutes recirculating. See you at the next stage. Okay, that's 60 minutes of a mash up, so let's have a quick check on the old gravity. It's super pale, I'll say that. The gravity is, remember this is 2¼ kilos in 9 litres of water, and I've got 6 litres of water there, which I need to heat up. So let's get a burner going on it. Switch the old doodah over, temperature thing, whatever it's called, and we're at 10:57, which isn't brilliant, but it's not too bad. So if we get sort of 10:30ish, 10:35 for a pre-boil, I'll be happy, because that'll get up to 10:45 or 10:50. We're not doing too bad then. Bit of WBO6, and it should get 5%ish of a beer, something like that, which is pretty good. Okay, so we're on to the boil now. I just put her on, so let's see what the pre-boil is. The gravity, I will say, it's super pale, super clear. And the pre-boil, whoa! Oh, that can't be right. Let me just have another. Let me give it a stir. That can't be right. Give it a good stir. Okay. That's more like it. Oh yes. So, always mix your work before you check your refractometer, because it was at 10:20. Bit of a stir as you store, and now it's at 10:37. Which is pretty good, so that means it's going to get 10:52ish, usually about 15 points with an hour boil on this kettle. So that is pretty good. Looking forward to get some hops in now for 60 minutes. Okay, according to my thing here, I need 0.81 grams of Epsom salt. So I've got about that in here. So I'm going to bung that into there, and hopefully that'll make something of a difference. I really have no idea what I'm doing. Right, that's a 60-minute boil done. So I added 10 grams of SARS at 60 minutes, and then at 45 minutes I added half a teaspoon of whorl flock. So let's have a quick test before we start to cool it down. Remember, pre-boil was 10:37, and we are now at, come on, something good, 10:37. It says 10:48. Let's give it a bit of a stir. Give it something to give it a bit of a stir. See if we can not tinge myself stupid. And see if it changes. There we go. Yeah. Okay, so we're at 10:49. So always, if you want an accurate measure, always give your wort a stir beforehand, because obviously it's, I suppose it's going to settle out, isn't it? Stuff's going to settle out. But 10:49, that's not too bad. Let's get her cooled down. Right, so I've cooled it down to pitching temperature, and the more observant of you will notice that I've got 3 demijohns, but only one of them has got some wort in it. And I have to say, it is super lovely and clear, because I've given it a whirlpool. Look how clear that is. Oh, look how clear that is. So I gave it a whirlpool, and unfortunately, I didn't lift the end of my kettle off the floor so it's angled, and I seem to get the wort a bit better out of it. But I've got that clean, and I've got just over 10 litres, so three and a bit, and a bit of rubbish left in the bottom. That should be okay. So I put all the wort in there, and then I went for the second one. Yeah, I mixed it all up, didn't I? So the whirlpool didn't work. So what I've done is I've put it back in the pan for a second whirlpool, and it's spinning away nicely now. And I'm going to leave it for another half hour or so and see what happens. It's been a right good brew day today. I've right enjoyed it. So this is my Búzasor 2, or Kate, as they say in Hungarian. Búzasor Kate. And it's my Weissbier, and what I've done is I've got an OG 1047, FG, let's see, 80% of 47, 86, if I get down to 10-ish, that'd be okay. And it'll only be 4%-ish, 4.5%, which is fine by me. 60 minutes, 10 grams of SARS, 45 minutes, a little bit of whirlflock, and we've got ourselves a beer. I'm just going to leave it under stairs for a little bit. So that's it, more or less, for this brew session. I'm doing another brew day tomorrow, very similar, but I'm doing brunch too. There we go. That's it. As usual, you can like and subscribe if you managed to get this far, and you can hear me saying that, because none of you seem to have. You can leave a comment as well if you want. And remember, you can follow me on Instagram at the Homebrew Journey, hashtag, yeah, that thing. And there we go, 10 litres, 6 and a bit in there, 3 and a bit in there, 10 litres, nice Weissbier. See it on the 8th of July, today is the 29th of June, should be okay, just before I go away on music tour with school to Europe. And we'll be able to have a taste of it when I get back. And so look out for the tasting video. And that's it, so we're done. So as usual, I'm going to sign off with a why don't you go out and brew something wheaty?